Ooh, what's going on, YouTube? Is Donnie B all day. So before I get into this knife video, I just wanted to show you guys something. I wanted to bring you to the beach. This is my ocean. This is where I come. This is where I play. I lived 3 houses down from the ocean, from the actual beach, for 2 years. I mean, right on the beach I was living. This is it. This is Hampton Beach, New Hampshire. And back here you have the Shell, where they do fun, free concerts all year long. I actually, you don't know this, but I did a contest there singing. I did some Joe Cocker, and I got Best Male Vocalist. Oh yeah, I did. Right there is the famous Casino Ballroom. It's where a lot of bands play. Got to, I met George Thorogood there, and I met Grateful Dead there, and I actually got to give Grateful Dead some bracelets on the day Jerry died, and to wear on stage, which I thought was pretty awesome. But I just wanted to show you my beach real quick, man. You got the playground right here, and the boardwalk is huge. It goes all the way down that way, all the way down that way, in both directions. The beach itself is big, and I know what you're thinking. You don't think about New England, January, ocean. Those usually don't go together very well. But you know, when in Rome, eat pizza. So this is what I want to do. I just wanted to show you my beach, and then we're gonna jump right into this blade. And before we do, I think I'm gonna take a walk down. It looks like they've been building some burns up here. Maybe they're getting ready to regrate the sand. No idea. But I want to walk down to the water, pop off the shoes, get a little wet toe in January ocean weather. When I lived on the beach, I used to run the beach in the winter every morning, because it was just, there's nobody here. It's quiet. It was just easy to run in the winter. Nowadays, I only run for 2 occasions, for the bathroom and food. But that's about it. So you can see the beach goes all the way down and around Boar's Head over there, and way back there is the jetty. And in the summer you walk along the jetty and you have yourself a good time. But right now the water is going to be, I mean, if I was going to put a thermometer in it and measure the actual temperature, it would be somewhere between freaking burr and my nuts froze off. Somewhere in there, if I was going to guesstimate. But what I'm going to do right now is, since they gave me a nice berm here, is I'm just going to sit down. I'm going to pop my shoes and socks off, and I'm going to curl up my pant legs. You see the waves crashing there. Ooh, I love that. I love that. And oh, look at that long wave coming through. Oh, it's beautiful, guys. It's beautiful. All right, so the socks and shoes are off. I'm going to hoist up these pant legs in a way that they're not going to fall down when I get in the water here. And go down. Now the girls, oh, I see the lights on in the truck. So I guess they all bailed already. Maybe it's too cold for them. But hell no, you can't come to the beach, no matter what time of year it is. You can't come to the beach and not get your toes in the water. Hell no. So I'm gonna get some official D-bad hypothermia on my feet. And it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice. Oh, let's see. Here we go. First footstep of 2020. Woohoo! All right. Gotta love that. So, January 27th, my first time walking in the waves. Oh, it's cold in 2020. This is how you break it in. This is how you break in the next set of the 2000s, is being right here in the water. I'm walking a little deeper than I wanted to. These waves are going to come up and probably splash around my legs, but I don't know if I care too much. Woo-wee. All right, so that was great. Just wanted to show you the beach. I can't feel my feet. It's like stones right now, but I mean, it's worth it to me. So I'm gonna go, and hopefully they have the little showers on to where I can wash my feet off so I can put on my socks. And we are gonna get into a knife. All right, so I simply do not care what time of year it is. I just love beach days. Man, I love beach days. All right, so let's get into this blade, y'all. Let's get into this blade, y'all. So I'm bringing you guys a knife that was I'm bringing you guys a knife that was requested. Right, somebody had asked me to do it because they want to see eventually a shootout between budget Bowies, and then a versus between budget Bowies and non-budget Bowies. So I can't do a complete shootout if I don't have enough to go, you know what I mean, enough to test through and go through. So apparently there was one I was missing. It's this guy right here, the Bigfoot Bowie. And you guys know my special connection with Bigfoot. These knives are defend against Bigfoot. So this is what we have here. We're going to do some measuring because there's no measurements on the box. Who makes Bigfoot Bowie? Let's see. Well, I guess there is some measurements on the box. All right, it just says Bigfoot Bowie with leather sheath. They're being very generous with the word leather there. Let me tell you something. This, I think it's like bunghole leather. It's so thin and so crappy that it is not a very good sheath to be calling leather, but it's holding the blade. This massive Bigfoot Bowie knife is one beast of a blade, constructed from the finest quality. This knife will surely get the job done. Depending on what job, right? If you need to pick your teeth, you probably got a bad knife. So let's see, we got 12 1/4 full tang stainless steel blade. I believe it's 440. Wood handle with cast metal accents. Includes leather sheath. And it is 18 3/4 inches overall. All right, so let's dive into this old Bigfoot here. Okay, so first thing I noticed was that the strap, when you put it in, the strap is kind of off center, which makes it a pain in the butt, but it's okay. Look how thin this is, right? And I'm waiting for the leather smell, but this thing is, it's hard, right? It's like a board. I don't even want to bend it because I'm afraid it'll crack. It is single stitched, and the stitching, because this is so thin, the stitching rides on top of everything. So if you just scrape across any area where there's stitching, it's going to start to come undone. You do have a lanyard hole, and it is formed. And this, because once you, let me, guys, how big was this damn blade here? 12 1/4. If you have a blade that's 8 inches and over, you don't need this necessarily, right? It'll get the job done. I mean, it's going to sit in there. So it is a dangler. It's not very well made dangler. This, you really have to work to get it to move around. And I have to say that this is like a 1 1/2 inch belt loop. It is tiny. For such a massive knife, it is a very tiny belt loop. Luckily for me, it fits mine, but that's just the way it is. Now, one thing I noticed on this monster freaking blade is the very thin profile. So let's see, on a blade this big, you generally want to be a little thicker than that. Let's see, is it even 1/8? And it is. It's 1/8 thick. On a blade this size, 1/8 thick isn't a bad thing. You can go less than 1/8 thick and have a really good knife. But generally, when you're talking about a knife this big, you see I can bow it with my fingers. You want to go a little thicker. Let's see how the fit and finish overall. I got some dings in the wooden handle here. Let's see. The accents don't line up 100% perfect, but they're not that bad. I'll show you what I mean there. You can see that. All right, so maybe they are bad once you look at it from a distance. You know, it is what it is. It's got these little tiny brass pins, but there's freaking enough of them. There's 6 of them. And so it's going to hold it on there. Fit and finish just isn't great. What I really like about this is the Predator tip. I absolutely love it. I mean, it just has a cool look to it, right? Now, as far as like being able to wield it, yeah, you can wield it, you can spin it, you can throw it around your head and bring it back and but it's not comfortable doing it. The handle, it's weird. It's not big girth-wise, but it's big this way. So where it wants to sit on your thumb, and they do actually bring it down right here. You can see that it does curve down, but it just, for some reason, there's something about it that it doesn't sit right where the thumb webbing is. It's just that one area. And I have very large hands. So small hands, I don't know how that's going to be for you guys. Who knows? Maybe it'll be better. But it is a pretty big handle, and it's not exactly, you know, like where you have your finger grooves, right? You got 2 fingers up here, one here and one here. But in order to put your fingers, look at this, 2 here, 1 here, 1 here. Do you see how far you have to separate your fingers, right? Instead of a close grip like this, and having these inside in between your fingers, you have a separation in order for that to work. But you don't hold your fist like that. You don't hold your hand open when you're gripping a knife. So automatically, you know, that's kind of at a loss for me. It's swedged here and it's swedged here. Now, I can understand the swedge in the front because when you're talking about back cuts, having a swedge helps. When you're talking about penetration, having a swedge helps. But up here, there's really no particular need or use for a swedge. I don't understand this. This just makes it harder when you want to, if you wanted to use it as a camp knife, which it's a fighting knife. We all know that. But to baton with it, you're going to tear your baton up on this thing. So you're going to go through a lot of them. You do have a big fat ricasso, so I can go below guard, I can go above guard, and I can still do any kind of tight work I needed. Let's see here. Now, I know this isn't paper, it's cardboard, but let's just see. All right, so it goes through, and it goes through pretty easy. There was a slight drag when I hit the multiple layers, but I mean, sharp enough to where it just cruises. I don't know how sharp. Let's see. I need my hand, man. One thing I have to say is that the blade finish itself, yeah, I was going to say it's not as bad. It's better than a lot of budget blades that I've used, but it is kind of scratchy in certain places. But it's got that cool satin look, and I like that. All right, so is it shave sharp? No. No, not really. It did break some hairs off, but only a couple. Shave sharp out of the box? Not so much, right? So I'd have to shave first and then get caught doing this. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I'll just shave my head. But overall, it's impressive. Overall, its overallness is impressive. Let's find out, and I pretty much know the answer because it's got a really thin profile. It's big, it's heavy. We're going to be able to chop with this without a doubt. So let's go and let's go chop with it. Come on, baby. All right, so I still have this old Christmas tree out here. Let's see if we can't get to it. There we go. There we go. All right. I'll tell you, it's pretty easy to swing for a big knife. It's easy to control, and what I'm doing is I'm using the OK grip like on a kukri. Let go, come back, and I'm letting the blade just carry itself, right? And it's working out pretty good. But it's not bad. It doesn't feel too bad. Coming around, it's got a good heft to it. So it's really working. And I believe these are like sub 20. This is less than 20 bucks. And if you can put a gigantic sharpened piece of steel in your hand for less than 20 bucks, you're doing good. Because if I went to buy some bar steel, I'm paying for the bar steel I'm going to pay pretty close to the amount for a finished product, right? So actually, let's do some 4-foot drops. And we already know 4 feet in the air on a big knife, it's going to do that. It's going to do that pretty much every time. So let's do a couple hard downward throws. We'll test the tip and the scales. Holy moly, I just barely caught on. Remember I was saying about what that swedge is good for? That penetration right there. Now, I used to have a big stump. Like this one, where I would do all my hard downward throws. This stump is small. This is less than 10 inches. So trying to stand back and get a hard swing, that's why I miss every now and then. But look at this. Look at this. Yeah, aiming on that little stump when I'm just winding, because when I throw this, you can't see me, I'm off camera, but I'm going like this, I'm coming around, so it looks like this, and I'm doing that. So letting it go with such force, driving my body through the throw, it's hard to aim. So if you see me missing, I'm blaming this stump. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. All right, let's see. Wow. All right, so that was impressive. Maybe it's because it's so big and heavy, it really helped, but I was able to push cut with that thing. This is a monster. This is a freaking monster. All right, let's see. Since it's a monster, we'll go with a bigger something to baton through. Ooh, this is frozen too. There's ice chips all on this one. Ugh. Now, the problem is gonna be the baton. Okay, let's see. And when you're batoning, what you're looking for, and why people, you know, because you think, well, any knife's gonna baton. Wow, that tore that up. Any knife's gonna baton, so blah, 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 it's kind of useless. What you're looking for when you baton is to see right here along the edge, right? On this bevel right here. You want to see if it's going to warp, because going through hardwoods, especially with a knife that isn't heat treated, it's going to go woo, right? You're not looking for chips so much, although if you have a poor blade, you're going to chip on batoning. But batoning, the most you're going to see is if your blade is going to warp. And I did it with that Walmart $20 Schrade, and I got warping out of that. So it is possible. So people say, oh, I hate baton tests. I don't do batons in real life, blah, 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 blah. Well, you want to know if this blade is going to baton anyway, because in emergency situations, you know what I mean, you might just need firewood, right? So let's see. Let's see here. That's pretty good. This thing is just so hefty that swinging it, look at that, it's stuck right in. Stuck right in. Swinging it is made simple. All right, put that over there, let it dry a little bit, because I'm gonna burn that. All right, let's see. Man, that stuck in really good, and that was going through the log. Look at this, man. This is like Paul Bunyan Camp 101. This thing's crazy as a chopper. And you know, you'd figure it would be, because you're taking an I-beam with an edge and you're swinging. Oh my goodness, what that does, that goes right in there. And you're just swinging it into an object. And of course, any kind of edge, that's gonna happen. Let's see how we can do finesse chops. Finesse chops. I have to say, it's a little harder doing finesse chops. Harder, and not just because it's big, but because of the shape and the handle and the distribution. You've seen me with big knives like the Natchez Bowie, and that thing, you can aim, precision aims, because it's just built for it. It's just built so right. This thing is, you can feel where it's a budget blade when you try to go finesse. That's when it really shows its true colors. This thing is made to be a banger. right? It's not made for soft work. Let's see. So it would take me about a day and a half to get this thing to actual sharpness. Let's see. We'll go with a side grip here. All right, don't be afraid to grab your blade. As long as you clean it, it's okay. All right, so what I'm getting is really tight curl packages out of this though. And a lot of them are falling down, but I'll show you the ones that didn't. And falling down is okay because they're still right there. So feather sticking, yeah, no problem. Chopping, yeah, no problem. Fine work, problem. All right, so let's go chop some more. I got a tree that I downed a while ago over here, and I got them everywhere. So let's go smash this thing a little bit. Let's go smash it. All right, here we are. Let's see. All right. Well, this one's just dangling. This is a piece. You can see how it's free hanging, which means if you hit it, the chances of it chopping are less than the chances of it pushing. So let's see if we can't get through it. Well, look at this. It went clean through, and then at the very end, it got hooked and broke instead of chopped. So, can I make a clean chop out of it on a dangler? Absolutely. But it does have its limitations. Now, is it as a chopper? Well, it's chopping. Wow. It's going. It's taking pretty big chunks. You are going to find some hand rattle. If you're not wearing gloves, you're going to find that this thing rattles in the hand. Let's get rid of this. It's bothering me. So I'm going through pretty easy, but I am getting a whole lot of feedback on my hand. And not feedback like the good kind, like, hey, what kind of sushi do you want? Not that kind of feedback. Ugh. It is diving, try right-handed, into the wood though. I want to see if I can chop as effective offhand, because you never know. You're in the woods and you hurt your good hand. You want to know that you can still do it. Not so bad. Not so bad. Oh, wow. All right, so it chops pretty well. Let's take a look at this edge. Woo. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. I see no warping. Let me feel it. No warping. No chips, no dents, no folds. It's a 440, so there's not going to be delamination, so I don't have to worry about that. So far, so good. Let's go over there to that fallen tree. Now, when you guys see me throw a knife into a tree, understand that it's not going into any of these trees. I had a tree fall from a storm right there, and that's what I throw into. Just a dead stump. So I don't want people freaking out. You're killing the trees. Believe me, if the tree had a gun, sure, I'd kill it. But man, it's already dead. It's already dead. Stop your whining. I haven't had anybody yet though, gotta say. All right, so I'm gonna try and throw this big beast. Oh, 5 yards. Oh my goodness. All right, first throw with it. I actually landed spine up, so I was pretty close. Pretty close. Let's see, did I rattle anything? Nope. Oh, look at that chunk. So, I hit the tip that time beautifully right here. Took a huge chunk of this out. What I need to do is get a chainsaw and flatten this, because this is really hard. It's round, and because all this breaks away, it's hard to get things to stick, really. Like, look at this. You know, I got all that. So if I can make this flat, and that's what I might do. Might get out the old electric chainsaw and see about getting down to some wood, because having a skin that moves and on a round tree, that doesn't help the cause. Ugh, that flat. That was flat. This is a very hard knife to throw. Gotta say, out of all my big buoys, let me back up a little bit. Oh. All right, so I'm right on the tip, but every time I hit, I'm folding through this stuff. Let me see if I loosened anything. I gotta say, so far, it's all still tight. All still tight. I love throwing big buoys from the blade, but this one is really hard. Really hard to throw from the blade. Ugh. So close. So close. Let's try that again. Ugh. That was straight up on the handle. This is where all of a sudden a knife is going to break, and it looks like the knife was bad, but it was really just a throw. All right, so I'm on it every time I'm here. Like you see, there's a slit right here, slit right here. I'm hitting the tip, but it's just not sticking in because of the bark. Will it stick in? Yeah, I just have to get a better throw and a better angle. But it's absolutely 100% not a throwing knife. This thing is a 100% fighting knife. It's a fighting buoy. It's exactly what it is. This thing is there's a cougar on the trail, and I need to stay alive more than the cougar does type knife. This is there's a bear coming at me. I can't get away. I'm making a fight. This is oh snap, Bigfoot just tried robbing me at Walmart. Although if you're carrying this at Walmart, you got as many issues as this guy right here. But all in all, can I use it as a camp knife? Limited, I can. I mean, chopping with it is a breeze, right? But if I need to make like the finer stuff, if I need to make pit spikes, tent spikes, you know what I mean, just anything like that, darts, arrows, it's going to be hard. This isn't a bushcrafting buoy without a doubt. I mean, it's just, there's no bushcraft capability here. Chop, baton, process wood, defensive. That's what this thing is. And all of those things, it'll do easily. I mean, easily. So, all in all, for sub 20 bucks, would I recommend this to someone as a knife that you're going to use to bang around with? You can bang around from here to Hades, whatever that means. And I think you'll be all right. I think you'll be all right. So we're going to have to do, I might have a couple more budget buoys I have to check. But once I get them all in, we're going to do a massive budget buoy showdown. And then we're going to do a budget buoy versus good buoy type review, and see if spending the money is actually, you know, beneficial when it comes to having a knife that's going to get it all done. Because can you get it all done with a budget knife? I'll tell you what, I've showed you some budget knives that there's nothing you can't do. And this guy is made in Pakistan. I just smashed this thing against a tree over and over again. And I hear people all the time say, oh, if it's made in Pakistan, it's junk, 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 junk. Pakistan puts out a lot of budget buoys. They put a lot of them out there. But you can get budget knives made in America. You can get budget made in Japan and Germany. Budget knives are going to be sold everywhere if you want a budget knife. But I've also seen some knives come out of Pakistan that are some of the finest blades I've ever seen. They have some craftsmen out there and some knife makers that are phenomenal. But when you're spending 20 bucks on something like this, don't expect that. You know what I mean? Don't expect that prime fit and finish. Then you look at it and you say, oh, well, I'm going to blame it all on the territory. It's all Pakistan. Anything that comes from Pakistan is cheap. Somebody Somebody last week commented on a blade and said, oh, it's made in China. Forget it. Well, guess what? So is the Shaolin. You know what I mean? I'd let one of them watch my back. The TV and the computer and the phone, he probably watched the video on and commented from. Probably made in China, right? Not complaining about that. So just because a country is known to put out some budget blades doesn't mean every time you see that stamp from that country, it means you're about to get a bad knife. Because I have swung knives from Pakistan that I will put up against any knife in the world. Any knife in the world. So when you're buying knives, don't let the knife snobs who know absolutely nothing about knives tell you that, oh, you bought it, oh, it's a Pakistan knife, no, it's no good, it's cheap. Oh, that thing came from China, no, it's no good, that's cheap. People that speak like that absolutely have no idea what they're talking about. They don't know what they're talking about. This sub $20 Pakistani blade right here just got smashed 6 times against the side of a tree, and I have nothing loose, nothing broken, nothing cracked, nothing wrong with it. I hacked through trees, I split wood, I did everything. Nothing wrong with it. It's made in Pakistan. Oh my God! And it's not even made by one of the great Pakistani makers. This is just one of those dime a dozen, you know, sub $20 Pakistani knives. This isn't even one of their good works, and it still works good. So understand that. Don't let the knife snobs, because you're going to be out there looking at a knife, and you might be a new guy in knife reviewing, and you might put up a budget blade, and maybe, who knows, it's your first big Bowie, and you're like, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread, I love this knife, blah blah blah. And then some joker, some troll is going to get on your page and be like, oh, you know, that's a piece of crap, it's made in Pakistan, which means it's no good, and you got ripped off, and blah 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 blah. And you're going to feel crappy about your blade. You're going to be like, wow, I really thought I had something good. Don't listen to the trolls. I don't care where it's from. I mean, think about it. Yugoslavia put out a car one. Okay, yeah, maybe that was bad. The Yugo was no good. But I tell you, man, Pakistan, even though this isn't one of the examples, Pakistan can put out some fine knives. So can China. I will swing a Chinese-made sword at an enemy any freaking day, right? Because they've been doing it for hundreds of years. They've been turning farming tools into weapons for battlefields. So don't trust the trolls. Trust your hunches, and maybe actually do some homework and see, you know, let's see, this country got invaded by the Russian army, and it was like a 60-year war. And guess what they used? They used the weapons that were made in their own country to defend their country, and they won. So, I don't know. You can say what you want about Pakistani-made blades, but if I swing it and it goes through the wood, and then I take a $1,000 USA knife and I swing it and it goes through the wood, what's the difference? All right, price tag. This one was sub 20 bucks. Although you can get some expensive Pakistani blades, they're out there. Not too shabby. That's it for me. I'm Donnie B all day. It says so right on my shirt. Until next knife.